Hey everyone, just letting you know I have launched my new webcomic. The first 2 chapters are out now. The next one should be around mid-March or so. Check it out, let me know what you think. Hope you enjoy. Sorry, it's been a bit, guys. I've sort of been in a peak coma for the past week. I hope I didn't miss anything crazy happening on BookTube or anything. Anyway, today we are here to finally talk about the Liveship Traders. This is the second series in the Greater Realm of the Elderlings universe by Rob and Hobb. It consists of Ship of Magic, Mad Ship, and Ship of Destiny, which released in 98, 99, and 2000 respectively. Now, in an interesting move, despite being in the same world as the previously released Farseer trilogy, this is a completely new story in a new setting with new characters that have nothing to do with the previous trilogy. Hobb would go on to continue the story of Fitz, but the Liveship Traders is not it. Instead, it's a pirate story. Being a pirate is a wretched thing. Yes, this story takes place on the southern end of the Six Duchies and follows the Vestrit family of traders. Now, the Vestrits are an important family because they are in possession of a live ship. And live ships are magical talking ships with personalities, feelings, and lots of mental health issues. But more importantly, they are powerful enough to swim up the Rainwild River, so the Liveship Traders can trade with the Rainwild Traders, where there is lots of wealth and prosperity to be had. Now, while there are multiple POV characters here, our primary protagonist is Althea Vestrit. She is the daughter of the captain of their live ship, the Vivacia, and she is set to inherit it after he dies. But after a bit of trickery, it doesn't fall into the hands of Althea. It falls into the hands of her brother-in-law, Kyle. And let me tell you something about Kyle, man. Think of the worst character in all of fiction. Kyle is worse than them. Kyle decides to, do an Elon Musk and start cutting costs in every way he can to recoup the family's large amounts of debt. The most efficient way to do that is to turn the Vivacia into a slave ship. So he leaves Althea behind, goes off with his new crew of slaves to make some money, and at the protest of the rest of her family, she vows to track him down and take back what is hers. Across the sea, we follow another character, the pirate captain Kenneth. And Kenneth is a very ambitious guy. He plans to gain as much support as he possibly can, gain the most amount of notoriety amongst the pirates to eventually become King of the Pirates, baby. The pirate whose eye is on it, he'll sing, I'll be king of the pirates, I'm gonna be king. How is he going to do this? Well, you see, Kenneth has this thing about slaves. He hates slavery. He hates it so much that he's going to hunt down every ship sailing the seas, capture them, kill their crew, and free all of the slaves, letting them work for him. You can probably see where this is going, how all of this is about to connect. I'll leave it at that. Now, while I was about halfway through the final book, I asked myself a question. Is the Liveship Traders the best fantasy trilogy? Then a few minutes later, when I hopped onto YouTube, in my recommendations I saw a video that had just been uploaded by the channel Spaced Out Reads, and it was called Why the Liveship Traders is the Best Fantasy Trilogy. I'm just like, hey, what the heck, you can't just do that. You can't steal from my head like that. Great video, by the way, check it out. But yeah, that kind of is the question, and it's completely serious. I'm not gonna beat around the bush. These 3 books were unbelievable. Now, I've already had a lot of praise for the Farseer trilogy, how Robin Hobb handles her characters, the development, their emotions. It's all so rich, so extremely well done. That, of course, rings true for the Liveship Traders. This cast of characters are even more engaging than the ones we met in Farseer. They are such complicated people with complicated lives, and it's absolutely marvelous to see their journeys play out. But here's the thing, that was kind of Farseer's whole thing, right? Like, the plot of those books was not as nearly as important as the character journeys. Like, you take all that away and the story of the Farseer trilogy is nothing too remarkable. I'd say it's like an 80-20 split on, the focus between characters and story. Liveship Traders is pretty much 50-50, okay? It brings the plot and the narrative developments and storytelling to the same high standard of character work. And what we are left with is an absolutely stunning, pirate adventure trilogy. It has everything you could possibly want from a story like this. Of course, a ton of pirate adventure and action, but we spend a lot of time on land as well, you know, following the politics of the world and these traders, their different customs and ways of life and how it is threatened. The world building was great in the Farseer trilogy, but you know, this offers a massive expansion on it, and it just makes the world so much more fascinating. Despite most of the series taking place on talking ships, I don't think there's as much of a focus on magic as there was in the Farseer trilogy, but we still get to see fantastical creatures, learn more about the Elderlings, specifically the ones in this part of the world, and it's all very fascinating stuff. This whole trilogy feels like a complete, full story with a beginning, middle, and end. This whole thing is perfectly plotted. There are a ton of, you know, crazy developments and twists and turns to keep you engaged, and that's no easy feat because these are very long books, much longer than the Farseer trilogy, but Rob's writing is so entrancing. It really pulls you in. Even when not much might be happening in the book at that moment, you're still just enthralled by this world and its characters. And yes, as I said, the characters are absolutely incredible here. It's really hard to make unlikable characters that you want to see more of. Not Kyle. Kyle can, you know, jump off board. I don't care about him. But, you know, characters like Captain Kennett are not good guys, but they are so fascinating. And the likable characters, like our protagonist, well, you know Hobb's gonna put them through the ringer, man. Oh my god. If you thought what Fitz had to go through was brutal? Althea's nephew is a boy named Wintro. He's Kyle's son. While maybe not my favorite character in this story, absolutely has the most fascinating journey here. His character growth from the start of Book 1 to the end of Book 3, Holy Mother of God. Wintro is goated. And I have to say, the live ships, you know, are very creative as a concept, but in execution, they are so interesting. Because yes, they are essentially sentient talking ships with magical abilities. That's very out there and weird, but Hobb makes it work super well in the more grounded fantasy setting of the Six Duchies. The thing about them is that while they may talk like us, they are not like us. They are not human, and they do not think like humans, which can make them very unpredictable. And as you could probably gather, the second book, Mad Ship, explores what might happen if a ship goes mad. And that was another very fascinating element to the series. If I had like one small complaint, it involves... So there's this guy, Rain, who is from the Rain Wilds, and he has his sights set on Wintro's little sister, Malta. And, you know, the Rain Wilds have some kind of weird, freaky customs, so he decides to send Malta a wet dream box. And Malta gets the wet dream box, and she's like, oh my god, it's a wet dream box, holy crap, and her mom and grandmother are like, oh Jesus Christ, he sent her the wet dream box. We're gonna have to let him court her now. You're asking, what the hell's a wet dream box? I don't think I can explain it any better than that. The issue here, Malta's 13, Rain is a grown-ass man. I know a lot of medieval fantasy settings, you know, will do this type of thing, and, you know, it's whatever, but every time these two were being all lovey-dovey and stuff, which does happen throughout the whole trilogy, it gave me the major ick. I'm not gonna lie. Didn't really ruin anything for me, but if there's just one thing I had to change, it would be that. So, with all that being said, is the Liveship Traders the best fantasy trilogy of all time? Well, I don't really know if I can make that call when stuff like Lord of the Rings exists. I mean, I just read Age of Madness, which is, you know, also a contender for me. But these three books are absolutely, without a doubt, some of the finest I have ever read. One of the best, just complete experiences you can have in fantasy. And it absolutely cements Robin Hobb as not only one of my favorite authors, but in my opinion, one of the best to ever do it. And getting on my list of the best to ever do it ain't easy, okay? Dave Pilkey is on that list. And if you are in the market for any type of seafaring adventure, I cannot recommend this enough, although I might not recommend it to everyone, especially if you're looking for more of like a fun-filled, jolly adventure. You know, you just watched like Pirates of the Caribbean or just some One Piece or something, and you're looking for that vibe. You are not going to get it here. Okay, this is a very, very sad story. If you've read Farseer, you're probably familiar with what Hobb can do. Oh my god, so many awful things happen to good people. It's very miserable at times. But for the most part, the hope does often shine through. Also worth noting, as I mentioned, this is not connected to the Farseer trilogy, and you absolutely do not need to read the Farseer trilogy before the Liveship Traders. I would still recommend it because I think that trilogy is great, but if this is all you're interested in reading for now, you can just hop on to Ship of Magic. I said this at the end of the Farseer trilogy, and I found myself saying it again now, like, Mother of God? There are still so many books left in the realm of the Elderlings. And while a lot of people I see consider Liveship Traders their favorite, I also see a lot of people consider, you know, the upcoming trilogies their favorites. People don't seem as fond about the Dragon series, but whatever, I'll cross that bridge when I come to it. Anyway, next up we're returning to Fit's story with the Tawny Man trilogy. I'm going to be taking a bit of a break from Realm of the Elderlings. I want to focus on Wheel of Time, and I feel like I still need to just soak in Liveship Traders for a while. But before the end of the year, I should be back on the Robin Hobb grind. But with that, thank you all so much for watching. Leave your thoughts on anything Robin Hobb related in the comments down below. If you've read The Realm of the Elderlings, what are your favorites? If you have any more recommendations for, you know, seafaring type fantasy, please let me know, because I love that stuff, even though I haven't really consumed a lot of it. And I'll see you all next week for an update on my journey through the Dresden Files with the first 6 books.